Alright lads, welcome back to another video. This is Brutally Honest here, and today we are going to be doing another unscripted video, which is not ideal for me. I would prefer to do the more scripted, highly edited content, but it's also just impossible to be able to do that pretty consistently. It takes a lot of time to write scripts and do the editing, so that's why I'm uploading a lot of older videos just to keep it a more consistent flow. But yeah, we're gonna have some fun today. And this came from the Forgotten Bionicle game video. Somebody in the comments basically was just asking me about how I got the game to run, and that went into a little talk about emulators. And I always thought it would be cool to do videos about emulators because it's a weird little niche here on the internet, but also kind of like a cool one. And I've always kind of like messed about with emulators, and especially over the last couple of years, it's blown up. Like when I was a teenager, it was pretty much just PS2, PS1, and now it's pretty impressive. So I'm just going to go through the emulators I have, which isn't all of them, and just show you what I'm able to run. My PC is not the best by any means. Yep, so as you can see, my processor is an AMD Ryzen 5 26006 core processor with 16 gigs of RAM, and my graphics card is the Radeon RX 570. And I probably should have just gone on this to begin with. It's also uploading an update for some reason. But these weren't exactly new when I got them. They were already kind of the budget options. And I probably built this PC back in 2021. But yeah, this PC, it served me really well. It probably is starting to get quite out of date at this point, but I don't know, every time you look into PCs these days, it's like people are still going on about GTX 1080s and crap, which was, I swear those have been around for years. So we've kind of like, we've hit a bit of a wall with all of that. Which it's funny because when I was a teenager, it must have been like the golden time for PCs because graphics cards were coming out, you know, it was a sick time. But anyway, on with the actual point of this video. Okay, so to start it off, I reckon we've got to go simple with the PS2. Alright lads, so yeah, the PS2 emulator is the PCSX2. This is why I need a script. And to get it, you got to go onto this site. I'll have it in the description, but literally just type PS2 emulator into Google and you'll find it. I'm not going to do tutorials on how to set these emulators up, just because I would only be just watching a tutorial than telling you what that tutorial has. This is more just me kind of showing you these emulators, how good they run on a pretty average computer. You know, if you're on a budget gaming PC, your performance and general build probably isn't all that different from mine. We end up with this. And as you can see, I have quite a few games, and these are all games that I'm hoping to kind of, well, maybe not all of them, but you can see the vibe I'm going for here, and games I would possibly make videos of in the future. We're gonna really, I know as you can see the Bionicle game, which was in the, which I've already done a video review of. I think, let's try Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. I remember I did try downloading a ROM of this at one point, so I can't remember if this is the ROM'd up version or not. But also I would say you kind of need to have a controller. I would recommend either a PlayStation controller or an Xbox. I have an Xbox One controller, and I think that's the way to go, really. Okay, yeah, so this is the one I played from my childhood. I think I remember Budokai 2 more fondly. But, oh god, the character's just moving around. Okay, let's see a move here. Super Kamehameha. Oh, nice. Okay, enough of that. But yeah, so we're gonna just close that. But that one ran pretty well. You know, it's PS2, so it has been around for a while, so people have kind of figured out how to play that one. But in general, you'll find that you need to really mess about with the settings yourself. The controller can be quite annoying, especially I've noticed that on the ones like the PS2 emulator. I don't know how to say it, like the camera view. So like, let's say you're moving with your left stick and then you have camera view of your right stick, it won't quite work. But I don't know if that's as much the PS2 emulator as much as maybe that's the PS2, if you understand what I mean. And I'm just going into it as if I'm playing on PC and the cameras, I can control the camera good. Not quite sure what the situation is there, but yeah, it's about time we moved on. And yeah, that one ran pretty well, but as you'll see going on, a lot of them don't run so well for me. Considering we did the PS2, I think it's time we do the PS3, which for me is by far the most impressive one. Again, just like before, just Google PS3 emulator and you'll find it, if not, a link in the description, but it is RPCS3.net. With this one, I would definitely recommend watching a YouTube video tutorial. You can kind of guess it a bit with a PS2, but once you get into the PS3 emulator, you have compatibility, you have all this, and then there's bugs that you have to... It's like a whole process, because these games don't run too great sometimes, but let's open that up. Okay, but as you can see, I have quite a few games, so I think I might actually have the HD collection of the Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi, so maybe that wasn't the best game to show on PlayStation 2. I have Fight Night Champions. That runs okay. To be honest, it's not the best, but it definitely is artifacting, yeah. And once you get to stuff like the PS3, you're probably starting to slightly get out of the realm of what I can play or what my PC can handle. And if you are seriously trying to get this stuff working, you've got to be on top of it with all of your settings and everything. Like, this is one of those ones where it really does matter, so look it up on YouTube. Manage game patches. See stuff like this, because certain ROMs will have patches and they'll be saved here, and it's worth doing. But the game we will play, which I haven't really tried playing in a while, but as far as it's the main reason I got the PS3 emulator is for Metal Gear Solid. So this is the HD collection. Also, I've been trying to get Metal Gear Solid 4 to play for the longest time, but I can never get past like the main menu. So if you're in the comments section and you know how to get that game running, let me know. And this is something you'll see a lot with the PS3 emulators. It takes quite a while compiling all this stuff before you can play. So yeah, we'll just wait. So we're finally loaded in. That took quite a while. Probably should have done the simulator last, thinking about it, but yeah, this is pretty much my favourite game that I played for PS3, along with Metal Gear Solid 4, which is funny because this is a remaster. But yeah, Metal Gear Solid, sick. You can play Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3 on the PS2 emulator, and you can get a PSP emulator for Peace Walker, but they just play the remastered versions for the PS3 is just so good. They're the one. If you can I would get the PS3 emulator just for this game easily. I know they are doing a remastered Metal Gear Solid game, but I don't know nothing about that. Let's go into Metal Gear Solid 2. Just for the sake of showing, we'll do missions, I think. And obviously this is kind of a cop-out because it is a PS2 game, so it should be playable really, but I have played, like I said, Fight Night Champions. I had an F1 game and that did run, not the best if I'm going to be honest, but it ran. But yeah, you may have to mess with some of the settings if you're playing, say, Fight Night Champions. Like I had to, for example, mess with my settings and change it to 720 instead of 1080. But that's likely an issue with my computer more than anything. Okay. God. It's been a while since I've played MGS, so give me a break here. There you go. There you go. Mission complete. I don't know why you don't see that more in games with the third person and then you go into first person. Quite like it. It is a bit gimmicky, but it adds like a little level of hardness. But anyway, for all that loading in just to try that, kind of lame. But yeah, let's move on to the next emulator. Okay, so we're going to go into Cemu. This is the Wii U emulator. I haven't really used this one much. You know, it does actually run really well for me so far from what I've used of it. So if we go and grab our Cemu. And like I did say, I don't have all the emulators. This is just some of the ones I'm showing today. But yeah, okay. So, and this one I've only set up to Daymind, so you know. But this is the Wii U, and we are playing Wind Waker, which I do want to go back and redo my review of someday. And as you can see, it's for some reason I tried to set it up, so I was using the game, the Pro controller, but it set me up as the Wii U tablet, which is annoying. Yeah, but as you can see, playing Wind Waker, and this actually runs really well out the box. I didn't really have to mess around with the settings at all. I'm not really fighting any enemies, so it's hard to tell. God, this game's so good. I actually might have to do a replay of this game, actually. Especially with how well it's running. It's like, nice. Yeah, I think this is obviously the remastered Wind Waker for the Wii U. I think there is also the Twilight Princess remastered, so that one probably would have been at least a better test, because I guess the whole point of this game is that it's self-shaded, so that it kind of runs okay. But yeah, I think that's all of that. So let's move on to the final emulator, and I think call it a day there, which is Yuzu, which is Nintendo Switch, which is pretty wild. You know, Nintendo Switch is very much still a current live console, so the fact that you can already get an emulator of it going is wild to me. But yeah, type in Yuzu, find it here, download. Definitely watch a YouTube video on this, much like PS4 emulator, it's no joke. Yeah, and before we get into this, my computer does not like running this at all, so it's not going to look nice. But to be honest, even the fact that I can get Breath of the Wild even playing on my Wii, on my computer is insane. Yeah, and as you can see, I have it on all the lowest settings, so... Yeah, and as you can see, given I have put this on the lowest possible settings, now that I'm seeing my frame rate, I am actually seemingly maintaining 30 frames, which is nice. But as you can see, the second you start attacking, that goes down immediately. But yeah, I guess out of all the games for the Switch, this is probably one of the more harder to run ones. But again, I think this probably the CPU is doing a lot in this case as well. Oh, I'm out of weapons. Oh god, what the stick goes. Nice. Die. Kill all those guys, but yeah, I mean, the graphics doesn't look great, but it's definitely playable. Gotta give it that. And I played half this game on the actual Switch when I was with my friends. He had one. If I could ever get this to run now, definitely would get on this. But yeah. Okay. That's a good showcase of that. Okay guys, so I think I'm going to call it there. I know that this probably wasn't actually the most informative or really entertaining video. I just wanted to put a video out there about emulators. It's mainly just to rep the whole emulator community, hopefully get a bit of their people from that emulator community in the comment section, because it's a very cool community to be a part of, and I'm not gonna like waffle on. I think I'm just going to end it here. Yeah, like and subscribe. See you in the next video.